I'm back. Welcome everybody. I'm Billy. Let me show you what we're going to do today. This is woodworking, FreeCAD woodworking for absolute beginners. I know I'm mixing it up, the order of the words there, but this is not perfect, polished. So we're going to do a triangular clock. It's got a special edge on it that, let me go ahead and pull that up and show it to you real quick. Let me see, transition, and there we go. You should be able to see that clock now. The reason why I want to do this is it's pretty easy to draw a triangle, then pat it, but this edge right here on the front, it's not a chamfer, it's not a fillet, it's kind of a reverse curve. So let me go to the next page. There you go. So it's probably hard to see, but up in the right corner, I'll try to zoom in a little bit. Maybe that'll anyhow, right up in there, it's a reverse radius all the way around the edge. There's no feature that I'm aware of that FreeCAD, you can just grab that edge there and then hit something and it automatically puts that type of I can't remember if it's called a concave or a convex type of curvature in there. So we have to manually put it there, and that's the intent of today's video. Let me zoom back out here. So we're only going to focus on the block of wood here and putting cavities in it and the holes through it. At a later date, when we get more into assemblies, so when we get back more into assemblies, then I will likely pull this up in future videos. So if you plan on following me in the future, you might want to save this one. And what we'll do is we'll model the actual clock that you insert in the hands and the washer and the nuts and the feet that go on the bottom of the clock, things like that. We'll do that at a later date. But today, we're just going to do a simple triangle. We're going to pat it. We're going to put the holes in it, and then we're going to work on that special edge. All right, if you've been following my videos enough, or other people's videos, by now you know how to open FreeCAD. I don't need to do that. I'm just going to go right to parametric part, right up here in the upper left. First, I need to turn the mouse on. I keep forgetting to do that. It is on, minimize it. There we go. That'll help you with your eyes, track it a little better. So I'm going to select parametric part. I'm going to do what I always like to do. I'm going to save this file. Same with my other stuff. Now the triangle clock, I have never done this before, so I've done special edges. It's been a long time, but hopefully I can make it work. If not, you're gonna see my humiliation today. I'm gonna call that a triangle clock. Triangle clock, and save. There we go. All right, so down here on the lower left, you see triangle clock. On that tab, we're ready to go. I'm going to rename this body. I always like to do that. Who can remember what function key you press to do rename? I'll give you a second there. I can right click it and rename it too, but it's function key, I hope I'm right, 2. I was incorrect. Yeah, I was correct. I just did not have it selected. All right, so it's function key 2 on that body, and I will call that triangle clock. Work on my spelling. And this will come in handy when I pull it up later and I show you how to model the other parts and we build an assembly and put the clock together. So for today, we're just going to have this block here, or the, yep. All right, let's get into, once you create the body, I keep calling it a block. Once you create the body, then your next step here is to use the sketcher and select a plane. You know, you could use any three of these planes, it doesn't matter, but since the clock is upright, I'm going to select this XY plane. I'm going to double click on that with my left button and bring it up there. Alright, I know we got a triangle. It is, let's use triangle, and then I want to build the triangle on this line and then use this for the center. So, man, it really has been a while since I've done a triangle. It does have a center feature. Let me close that. Nope, I don't want to close that. I want to... We have a triangle and there's a red dot in the center, so that's showing me that there's a center point, and then you have the other points of the triangle. And the issue that I'm going to have is not all angles are going to be equal. So it's not going to be equilateral triangle. So I'm hoping it'll let me change the angles. It should. So let's go ahead and give it a try. Hit left click triangle, select the center point. What the heck, I'll go ahead and use the origin there. Select that, and then you can see spinning it around. I'm going to set that tip right there. There you go. Come on. I can see that it's about 5 inches tall, so I've already looked and the clock is about that height. So I'm going to go ahead and left click, and there we go. Yeah, this is equal. So let's keep going here. Maybe we can change the angle on it. Alright, I'm going to go and pull that up. It's 6 5/8 across the bottom. And then we want 5 3/4. So 6 5/8 and 5 3/4. See if my short-term memory can remember that. Alright, so I'll select that line and we'll go with 6 5/8. Now, this input is not good with fractions. I think I've already tried that. So what I'll do is use decimal. So 6 5/8 is 6.625 inches. Haha, that's interesting. So what I would have to do here is make this line, right click. Maybe I should not have started off with a triangle, but we'll try to see if we can make it work. I will select this line here and then try to constrain it to horizontal. Let's try that. Okay, it's saying it's fully constrained, but the height here is probably not going to work because these are equal. You see that number 5, number 4. All right, so 4 is the initial length, and then 5, that's equal to 5, 4. Anyhow, I'm going to get rid of these constraints. Click on those. Click on that. There. Now these links can be independent of each other. See, there you go. All right, yeah, that's what we want. All right, so in the sketch, we want a height of 5 3/4. Come back over here, FreeCAD. And this time we're going to go from this point to the top point here. I'm going to hit this auto dimension, but pull it over to this to the right and type 5.75, enter. All right, that gives us our shape. We're under constrained. We got 1 degree of freedom before we can pad this triangle. Let me see, I've got height. Got that. So I believe what I have to do is one of these dimensions has to be referenced to either this vertical or horizontal line. So what you want to do is just grab any line and just kind of drag it. I'll grab this line with my left button, hold it down, and you can see how that top line right there, that point is not what do you call it, coincident with this vertical line here. So what I could do, a couple of ways to do this. Yeah, I'm just going to make this point here and this point align vertically. Go here and put a vertical constraint on it. There. Perfect. So now we got that triangle locked in. We're fully constrained. I'm going to close it. I'm going to scroll back a little bit. I'm going to pad it over here on the left. And I forgot the thickness. That looks like 1 3/4. I'll go with that. You can see my high-tech photography here is just kicking in. All right, so 1 3/4. Go back to FreeCAD. It's already highlighted blue, so we should be able to just type it in. 1.75. Uh-oh. Nope. All right. Let's go up here and select this isometric. I lost it. Okay, there we go. And then I'll come over here and I'll just backspace, and then I'll type in 1.75 and enter. There we go. All right, we have our triangle. All right, so with this being the front, we will have a hole drilled through it. We also, on the back side, we have to put a cavity in there for the clock. So let me go ahead and start with the back side. Select that face. If you remember from the last video that you can now select these faces here. Left click on the faces and select sketch, and the sketch will automatically align to those faces. So I'm going to start back with this isometric view here, and that is my front. So now I'm going to, like this arrow up here, or remember this dot up here will just do 180. So I'm going to do that, flip it around 180. There's my back side of the clock. I selected that. Then I selected sketch. Yeah, I know it went upside down. That happens. I can't explain it at the moment, but here we are. We're on the back side of the clock. What I'm going to do now is just kind of rotate it around a little bit. There you go, to show you that we are on the back side of the clock. Okay. And I'll select rear there. That is really strange. That's messing with my head. So I'm going to go up here and hit this arrow on the right just to bring it around. One more. There we go. All right. Let me see where we got to locate that cavity. I see the dotted line. It's going to be 3 3/8 diameter and 1 15/16 up from here. So 1 15/16 up, 3 3/8 diameter. All right. We can do that. Circle. I don't want to put that there because it'll lock in on that origin point and we won't be able to move it. It'll be constrained to that point. What we do want to do is lock it onto this line, and it really doesn't matter where you put it. Just to show you that it doesn't matter, I'll just put it here for right now. And we know it's going to be about 3 inches. I'll just hit it there. All right, 3 3/4. Yeah, my short-term memory's kicking in, or not kicking in. 3 3/8. All right, so I'm going to select that line, go up here. This is the auto dimension again. You can come down here and hit diameter or radius, but you should be used to it now if you've been following my videos. This auto dimensioning is what we want to use, get used to using. In most cases, it'll work just fine. All right, select the line. And there you go. It wants to put the sketch is upside down because I spun it around, so that's why it did that. I'm going to figure that out and give you an explanation for it, why it's upside down. So, but that's I can't. I'm not going to do it right this second, but I'll promise you, and maybe the next video I'll look into that a little bit more. I do remember that running into this issue several times in the past, and I can't quite remember what to link it to. But I'll see what I can find out and let you know. All right, so 3 3/4, 3.75. Select it there. Right click to get out of that. I'm just going to grab the circle either there or by the center point. I'll grab it there. And it's locked to that line, so I'll just slide it up into position there. And now we're going to put an actual, I'm going to zoom in a little. I'm going to put an actual dimension to it. And it was supposed to be 1 15/16. So from zoom in, see, make sure I got that point. Select that point, come down. Oh, it won't grab that line because I haven't brought it in yet using the reference command. So I'm going to right click, click again. In order to use this line right here, I'm going to have to use this, which is it's external geometry. Since we use the face of that triangle to give a plane for the sketch to land on, we still have to grab these lines and pull them in to reference them. So that's what this command does right here. So I'll select that, come over here and grab this line. There you go. You see it turn blue. Select it. Now it's kind of purplish. I'll right click to get out of it because I really don't need it now. And that's going to stay as a reference line. It won't affect your degrees of freedom or anything like that. It's there for reference. So now I should be able to go from that line up to the center of the circle, or from this dot up to there. It doesn't matter. I don't think it does. We'll see. I'm going to grab the line and we'll go up, and I can see that center point selected. I select it. You see both of them are selected right there on the left. And now I'm going to give it a vertical. Well, let's just try that one, see what it gives us. There you go. It does give me that option there. Okay, so the vertical, you can see it's pretty close to 1 15/16. Now I got to remember what 1 15/16 is. let's test it here. I believe. All right, I'm gonna have to break out the calculator for this one. All right, so what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna pull a trick, and instead of breaking out the calculator, what I'm gonna do is put 15/16 in here. 15/16 and see what value that gives me. Hit enter. And it's 9375. So all I gotta do is add 1 inch to that. Right click to get out of that. Now I'm gonna double click the dimension. Come in here, hit the home button, backspace, and I'm gonna put a 1 there. So it'll be 1.94, hit OK. And there we go. So now you get to see a little bit of trickery there. Instead of using a calculator, you can use the dimensioning tool, the conversion tool that's built into the dimensioning for fractions. The one thing you can't do is like do 1 space 15/16. That will mess it up, so that's why I had to do just the 15/16 by itself and then add the 1. I know I'm probably making this too complicated. So fully constrained, I'm going to close it. We've got a line there, and if you remember before, I keep calling this a hole. It's actually a pocket. Use the pocket command. There you go, puts a pocket. How deep do we need to make the pocket? All right, let's pull up the image. How deep is that? There it is right there, 1 inch deep from the back. Go back to FreeCAD, and over here, click in that box. I'm just going to backspace it, just type 1, and select enter, and there we go. We've got the cavity in there for you. Now, we got a couple of options here to put the hole through. I can select this face here and then drill the hole through the face front, but then I would have to do some math on trying to figure out where it needs to go. We know it's 1 15/16 up, and then I can center it. But just to make it a little bit easier, let's take advantage of this circle that we already have and select that face right there inside the pocket and see if that happens, see if that works. Selected, and then we'll hit sketch, and there we go, and it's upside down again. That's bugging me. All right, so this time I'll remember to bring the geometry in. Select that. Select that circle. There you go, down there. It brought that geometry in. And I'm going to right click to get out of there. It's not showing any degrees of freedom over here because it's not, when you bring in geometry like that, like I said, it's a reference, and it's not, let's just say it's kind of hidden to FreeCAD right now, but we can use it, take advantage of it. So we know now the center point is right there waiting for us, so we don't have to do any math. Let's put a circle there, but let's find out what size the hole is. And it is 3/8 diameter. Go back. So now, put that circle, zoom in a little so I make sure I got it. There you go. It doesn't matter how big you make it. Put it. Oh, you know what? This is a good time to show you something. While I'm dragging this around, before you select your left button, while that dimension is blue, you can put your dimension in right now. So what was it, 3/8, 3/8, hit enter, and there you go. I'm gonna right click to get out of that. It's fully constrained. Let me make sure. My memory. 3/8, yeah, okay. 3/8, and that is diameter. All right, I'm gonna zoom back here. Let's close. We're fully constrained. All we had to do is get that reference, find the center point, drop a circle on there, close it. There's our circle, and now this time we want the pocket to go all the way through. Pocket there or pocket here. Let's try it over here this time. It really doesn't matter. It's just two ways of doing it. And we can do it here too. What would it be? A feature? That's additive stuff. Subtractive features. There's a pocket right there. Let's try that. Just 3 ways to do that. You see the impression it made. We want to say through all and roll around. And there you go. Went all the way around. Yay. All right. I'm going to select OK. I'm going to reposition it. Alright, now what would the intent of this whole video, this edge. So in the last video we had these features up here in the upper right. It'll put a fillet on here. Let me see, let me just try that real quick and see. You can grab any one of these lines here on the face of this cloth. Let me just grab this one here. Grab it, and then I'll hit a fillet. And this time it didn't go all the way around, but you can, I guess because it was such a hard break, the last model we built, I selected the edge, and I think it was the key rack, and went all the way around. But because of this hard edge up here, maybe that's why I didn't do it. But what you can do if you get in that situation, over here you can add edges. But first, just for the fun of it, I'm going to increase the radius. Oh, that's too big, isn't it? Oh, no, we don't want that. Let me go. I got to remember I'm in inches. I'm just going to put 0.25. But I want that to show. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. There you go. Now we're going to go up here, right click on that fillet, and we're going to edit it. There you go. Now we should be able to add these other edges here. So I'm going to hit select, and that turns magenta, and it's waiting for you to select other edges. So you ease in on that. You see that line, that edge turned blue. I grab that one. Grab that one. It didn't add it over here, so I'm going to try that again. There, it added it. And you can go all the way around and click on any of these edges, but I'm just going to use the face of that. Go back up here and hit that, and bring it up. All right, now when I hit OK, there you go. It puts it all the way around. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Edit, delete. There we go. We're back to our 3D modeled item clock here, the triangle. Now let's work on that special edge feature. So when you do that, you're going to need to draw let's see if I can do this, try to explain it to you. We're going to have to draw what we want here. It's a kind of a cross section of the edge we're trying to put on there, and then we're going to select a path like these edges here, that once we draw a profile of that edge, it should go all the way around the object automatically. It's like using a router bit, where a special router bit that's something other than up here in the upper right, a fillet or a chamfer. And I am going to see if I can pull this off. So how are we going to do that? We're going to need a sketch of a profile, and then we're going to need a sketch of a line that goes around. So what I'm going to attempt to do, I know it might be a sweep. I think that's it, where you draw a profile and then you sweep it along a path. If you could read that there, sweep a selected sketch along a path or to other profiles and remove it from the body. All right, let's see if we can do this on the first try. Get back to here. Where would be the ideal place to put that profile? I think what I'm going to do, let me start a sketch. And it appears that using this YX plane, I can start that profile, but yeah, that'll work, because it intersects right here. It's not out on the edge. So let me try that. I'm going to try the XY plane. I'm sorry, the YX plane. Let me double click on that plane. There you go. And you see I'm just going to rotate a little bit so you can see what's going on here. In order to remove some of this, because it's in our way of drawing, you use this command up here, view section, and it'll automatically, let's say, slice, or I'll call it slice, to remove the interference. There you go. So now when you draw, it doesn't cover up what you're drawing. All right, so I'm going to select the right side here. All right, now I got to get here. The problem I'm going to have is, will this geometry allow me to bring that edge in? So let me try that. Oh, yes it does. Yes it does. Okay. Right, there we go. So that gives me a point. Right click, get out of that. Now let's go look at the image and see what we have to do here. And this is about where we're at right down here. So we've got to put a radius of 3/32. All right. I think we could draw right on that dot there. It recognizes the dot. Oh, that's good. Good. So a radius of 3/32. We're going to draw this here. And it's looking for a diameter. So 3/32 radius is actually 3/16 diameter. So let me put 3/16 there, hit enter. Okay. So far, so good, I believe. All right, that sketch is fully constrained. I'm going to move the view over a little bit. Rotate it, I mean, with my mouse. Let's see, there you go, that circle. So now that circle should follow that path around, and we will subtract that circle from the triangle that we drew. It's going to make a little pipe that goes around, but now we need to draw the path. So that's the profile. Now we need the path. I'm going to put this back there, down. All right, I'm going to close, and there's our profile. Now I need to draw another sketch with a path So I'm going to need this line, that outline there. So I'm going to select this face, left selection. I'm going to draw a sketch. And let me write. With these lines in here, when you rotate the view, that shows you, since those lines are in front of the object, you're drawing right on that face, just to let you know. All right, let's bring these lines in, the geometry. All right, select that, and hopefully it will recognize it, and there you go, one. I'm trying to get down here to see. Come on. Why did you end up down here? Select that, pull it up. Ah. I'm trying to pull this task up. There we go. All right, I'm going to right click. I wanted to see these lines as I selected them, so let's try that again. Geometry. Bring it in. See, that's what I wanted to show right there. I wanted to see it come in. Select this line. Select this line. Okay. It's an empty sketch because we haven't drawn any lines yet. See, empty sketch. So now what I should be able to do with those lines in there for reference, I'm going to right click and get out of that geometry mode. And I am going to use this multi-line command, or a polyline. Select that and just start on one of these things. So I'll go start on that point, go clockwise around, pun intended. And as we select these points, because they're reference points, you can see over here it's getting fully constrained because we don't have to dimension them when we lock it on to reference points. And they're fully constrained and closed. Right click. All right, I'm going to close it. Fully constrained. Wow. All right. Come up here. Select model. Yeah, I don't know if this is doing it to you if you're following along, but this has rearranged itself somehow, and I don't have time to try to go in and fix it. I really want to get through this, so I'll probably end up doing a yet another video on this later. All right, I'm going to close this. I'm going to save it. I'm going to reopen FreeCAD and we'll see if it fixes itself because I did something to mess it up. Oh, look at that, guitars. All right, I'm going to open a file. There's my triangle clock, and I will open it. And there we go. We're back to having this view. There's something else I have to look into. Pull that up a little bit more. All right, so let me get back to it. What I was going to show you before I lost or undocked my my panels over here is that now that we have these two sketches drawn, we want to hide the pocket, not the triangle, because let me hide the triangle. I think that hides everything. Yeah, because the sketches are inside the triangle. So I'm going to open that back up. And are the sketches in the pocket? They are, but that's what I want. So there you can see the two sketches. That's 3, and then the outline of the triangle is 4. All right, here's where the fun comes in. So I'm going to attempt to do the subtractive pipe sweep, and I need to figure out what order to select them in. I'm going to assume that I have to select the profile first. Let me do that. It's selected, highlighted, and then if I use this, it should ask me for a path. Let me try that. Select. No spline linked. Okay. I believe, let me close this report view. Let me see if it'll let me add edges. First, let me try this one. There you go. Look at that. It's letting me add edges. So I selected the profile first. You can see now that if I hit OK, it's going to do what I want there. So let's go ahead and try that real quick before I go all the way around the clock. Let me select OK. There you go. Look at that. There we go. It's worked on that edge. We just have to go back, and that line right there that goes around, we'll hide that. But for right now, we do need it. All right, so my panels have moved around on me. I apologize for that. Hopefully you're doing okay. Your panels didn't move like mine did, but you should still be able to see this view right here. And what I want to do now, we use the subtractive pipe up here. I'm going to right click and edit it, because now I want to add more edges and see where we go from there. So at the top up here, it's edit the pipe, select that. All right. And now I need to pull this down. So that I can add more edges. I'm going to spin this around a little bit. Add an edge. Zoom in. Grab that edge. You see the pipe going around. Grab that. Oh, I think, okay, it's selected. When I hit add edge, it should add it in. Oh, nope. But now I should be able to select it. You see it's a magenta around that add edge. So I should be able to select it now, and it'll add it. There we go. Okay. So we have you can see it shows up kind of reddish, the pipe, showing you that it has gone all the way around the clock. But if you notice, that profile right there, as it goes around, it keeps its orientation of left and right. So then when it comes down, it slides down here, you can see that profile is just slid up like that. If it was a router bit, it wouldn't do that. So we need to correct that. And I believe the orientation mode is what we want here. I'm going to say we're going to try several of them, but let's try fixed. That didn't change it. Let me try FreeNet. No. Auxiliary. And binormal, I believe I'm going to go back to standard, and it could have more to do with the transformed. Do a right round corner. Okay, that might be what we're after right there. Yeah, that's exactly what we want. Okay, and just for the heck of it, let's see what round corner does. Oh, it should just round it when it goes around the corners. Yeah, there you go, look at that. That would work too, either one. Just so it's not that transformed. You see that it just kept its orientation it didn't turn the corner. It just went here and then it slid up, but that profile is still facing to the left and right as it goes around. So the corner transition is what it is. And in this case, either right or rounded would work. It doesn't matter because that red pipe is going to be subtracted from that material. So I'm just going to use right corner for the moment. And then I'm going to hit OK. And then we have our edges done. Now we just got to, you see that line right there? That is the path. I can go down here and let me pull this up. Grab that, pull that up. And I believe, there you go. When I select it, you see it turn blue. Now there's a little eye over here to turn the visibility off. Turn that off. And there we go. Wow. Look at that. So if you had a router, that's how you would do it around the edges. In a woodworking shop, that's what it would come out to be. So that profile that we drew, now let's have a little fun with it. The profile should be inside the subtractive pipe. Yep, there it is. See that circle? Let's try something. I'm in that sketch. I double sketched it. And what I'm doing is now let's just say that we're changing router bits, okay? Just to have fun. I'm going to delete that profile. Hit delete on the keyboard. Try it again. Come on, Billy. Select it. Delete it. And using that same point, do a centered rectangle. Put that on the center. And we're just going to drop it about there. Right click. Oh, it's asking for dimensions to fully constrain it. All right, let's comply. Just put that and hit OK just to accept the dimensions. We still got 1 degree of freedom. Grab that line, come out here, OK, just accept it. Now that profile should run all the way around the path. Let me close it. Oh, there you go, and it updated the view. Cool, huh? Now let's try that again. This is the profile, which, you know, in the future, these sketches, when you get multiple sketches, you might want to label them. So I want to go ahead and put rename that, and that is the path. And then we'll call this, I'm going to right click that and call it the profile. There we go. So now we know when we grab the sketch, we know that that's the path and that's the profile. Now we can have some fun. I'm going to double click on the profile sketch again. Come on, let's see if it works. Double click. Oh, I think I got to turn it on maybe. Double click. Yeah, I had to turn it on. Make it active. All right, so now don't delete the profile sketch, but you can, once you open a sketch, you can select it, hit delete on your keyboard. Okay, it's going to make me select one line at a time. So instead of doing that, what I'm going to do is just in the upper left of this view, hold down your left button on your mouse and just drag it, and it'll grab the lines and the points. Then hit or select delete on your keyboard and it all goes away. Let's try that. Oh, I got rid of my reference line. Let me right click and bring that back when I drug it. So bring the geometry back in. Boom, there we go. Now we got our endpoint. All right, now let's try this. Select center point and I don't know. I'll put them right there on that reference line. Right click. Should be able to grab that line, give it a dimension, yeah, and it'll fully, you can make that whatever you want, but I'm just going to select OK. Now when we close it, you can see it's going to put that impression all the way around. Let me close that. All right. Did it update? Yep, it did it. I just have to turn the profile off over here, that eye selection, and there we go. Look at that. All right, we'll do one more profile and call it quits. I'm just showing you that once you build a profile on a path, you can change the profile, and it's like in woodworking selecting a different router bit. So let me turn it back on and then double click it, left click, go back in here. I'm not going to, well, let me see, I'm going to drag backwards this time, but select that and then hit delete. It still went away. I lost my line. All right, we hit geometry, select that. We got our endpoint to do another profile. What should we do? I'm trying to get crazy on this one. The slot. Maybe we can do something like that. Put it on that endpoint. Oh boy, what the heck? What the heck, huh? Put it right there. Right click, I want to dimension that line. Auto dimension. Okay, 2 degrees of freedom. And grab, oh, it doesn't like that. Go out of that. I'm still going to put it there. There you go. Hit OK. 1 degree of freedom. And what is that freedom? I'm going to right click and I'm going to grab it, move it around and see. Oh, there we go. It's the angle. I mean, we can make it straight up like that. That would be cool, but I think what I'm going to do is just put an angle from that point to that point, and an angle. It's not working. All right, I'm going to go. If I just do that and then hit an automatic dimension, yeah, I figured I was going to run into that problem. I'm going to move it around until I get green. There you go, green. It liked that right there, so I'm going to keep that. Hit OK. Oh, come on. I'm going to undo that. I kind of want to see what that happens when it goes all the way around, so I want to keep that. And I could just hit close, but I do want to do constraints here. So what I'm going to do is go from here to that point, horizontal. I'm not going to let the auto dimension do it for me because it's not working right. There are situations where it's just going to give you trouble. So I do know I want horizontal constraint there. There you go. Look at that. I accept it. And now we got that locked in. So let's close it and see what it gives us. That profile all the way around the clock. And then we want to turn the profile off right there. That's cool. Okay, so that profile is cut all the way around the clock. So that's like kind of a slot undercut right there. I doubt you'll find a router bit for that, but I'm just showing you the flexibility and the fun you can have with stuff like that. So anyhow, that's it for learning how to do a subtractive pipe around the edge. I'm trying to relate it to, giving you other options to go around edges rather than just having a fillet up here in the right or a chamfer. Because the many drill bits that are out there that offer different profiles, you should be able to do it here in FreeCAD, and that's how you do it. So I hope you learned something from that, and I know I got to go back and look and see what happened over here with my views getting moved around. So I think there's a couple of things in this video that I need to go back, and I told you I would look into and give you some answers on the next video, so that's what we'll try to do. All right, let's go ahead and give this one a color like we've done on the others. Hit triangle clock, come down here. You know what? I don't think we covered transparency yet. Let me give you a little bit of that. See this transparency line here on the view tab? Let's make it transparent so you can see inside of it. Now, you can use oh, there you go. You can see the more I increase the transparency, the more you can see through the object. After about 50%, you don't really gain a benefit, but I'm going to scroll down. What I usually do, sometimes if I just want to see the lines, click there and go down. 5%, 10%. So it looks like around 30% would be good. I just click out here somewhere, anywhere, and you can zoom in, zoom around. Now you can see inside your object a little better. And that is useful in some applications. It may not be useful to you. It may annoy you, but it helps me sometimes when I've got multiple parts, and it helps me to see through the object while I'm designing it. So let's go back to the triangle clock, select that, come down to transparency. Let's go ahead and change the color of the whole shape. Let's do that. We've done that before because we've used these kind of wood-like textures that end up looking like bronze or copper. I'm going to select that because we created that one, I think, in the last video. And then you can just slide this slider up and down to darken it, lighten it. And you can also go in here and select and drag it around till you get a color you like. But since we're working with wood, or trying to work with wood, I'm kind of trying to stay in that family of wood colors. That's more like a brown. Let me just hit OK on that and close out. So there we go. It's transparent. And then let me hit clock again and remove the transparency. We're at 30. I can arrow down, but I'm just going to type 0. And then click anywhere out here in the view area. And there we go. All right, I have been looking into putting textures onto these items that we're building that's supposed to be out of wood. And I got to get through maybe 2 more videos to get your if you're following along with me, to get your level up a little bit more. And then I'll probably introduce some textures. FreeCAD does not have any within them, but you can go to other websites and look for free texture downloads, drop them into FreeCAD, and use those to apply textures, and it'll look like wood. But honestly, I get pretty good results from taking something like this and doing a screenshot and dropping it into an AI. There's many of them out there that will do pictures for you. Drop it in and then ask them to generate this model with a wood grain, and then name the wood grain you want. Mahogany or maple, hardwood maple, something like that. And you'd be surprised at what it gives you. The only issue that I've had with that so far is, you see these lines right here? You have to right click on the screen and go drawing style and go shaded. All right. But then you lose the edges, and it makes it more difficult for the AI to determine where the edges are to put the wood grain on there. So that would be the only downside of putting it in AI, is that you would have to have these edges. We go back here. We want, you could do no shading. That doesn't look very good. Drawing style, at least to me, it doesn't look good. Some people may like that, but using flat lines, it gives you the shading, and it also shows you the edges, the hard edges. But I think once I get the textures loaded into FreeCAD and show you how to do that, and maybe show you some websites that have free textures, drop those files in and use it for this shape. Instead of a solid color, you'll actually see wood grain. And some of the textures are intelligent enough, or they're designed so that maybe your wood grain is along the face and your end grain is on the edges. Whereas a while back in 2017, when I was doing guitar bodies, I'd bring wood in, and every single face or side of the guitar would have, wood grain. There would be no wood edges. It just didn't look right. But they're far enough along now to where it looks a lot better. All right, sorry, I'm not trying to confuse you, but I'm just trying to show you that there's more to learn here. And be patient. I'll show you how to do the wood grain stuff. We'll get to that. So I think I need to wrap it up here. I'll go up here and select this ISO mode, put it where I need it. All right, we close out of there. Exit and save. And back to me. There you go. All right. That was a little shorter, I hope, than the other videos. You saw the issues I ran into. Those were unexpected. Uh, if I really wanted to be polished, I could have drawn this clock 3 or 4 times and shown you just the perfect way to do it without any mistakes. But that's not what FreeCAD is about. When you learn FreeCAD, you encounter these things, and sometimes it's nice to see somebody figure it out. I was able to get my task panels back, but they weren't behaving like they were originally. So I'm going to figure that out. I got some things to iron out that I've learned in this video, and I'll try to present those in the next video or two, maybe after I do this series, which is probably 2 or 3 more videos. I will end it with maybe some lessons learned, if that'll be useful. We'll see. And then what I do after that, I'm not sure. My channel is not all FreeCAD. I do enjoy designing guitars. I play guitar. I'm not the best, but I do play guitar for many years. And I'm the kind of person that plays for a while, and life gets in the way, and pick it up years later and try again. So I have some things there that I'd like to show that I've learned along the way, especially in scales. But that's for another time. And oh my goodness, CNCs. I'm so fascinated with CNC machines. I plan to use FreeCAD to design my own DIY machine. So I'm just going to have so much fun looking up the size of motors and getting into the details, where I think FreeCAD can help me with some of that in FEA analysis to see, on the CNC machine, if it can handle certain weights, what kind of deflections that there are in the beams. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know if that's a journey that I'll take you along on. I'll give you status updates here and there, but it's going to be a very long, drawn-out process while I design it. And it may take quite a while before it comes about. So CNC machines. And I did a little bit of research on FreeCAD users, what type of people are using FreeCAD. And the commercial world they're stuck on their software packages, and they're not giving FreeCAD a fair shake. So mostly it's just hobbyists, and at the top of the list it's 3D printing. So I'm fascinated with 3D printing as well. So I'll probably end up maybe picking up an inexpensive machine and dabble in 3D printing as well. And there is a difference in your approach when you're 3D modeling something that's going to be printed versus woodworking. And maybe I can cover some of that in the future. So, as usual, I'm long-winded trying to close this out, but I really appreciate you hanging in there, and this was fun today. I appreciate it. So let me see, what do I say when I close out? I always like to tell everybody, steady as she goes. So have a good one. We'll see you.